Oh, okay, I'm on. Oh, yeah.
Are you available Tuesday afternoon?
I think I responded, yeah. I think I did, but maybe I didn't.
Is that okay time? Tuesday, 3:30?
I'm pretty sure it is. I'll make it work.
Okay. Hopefully they'll be done cutting trees by then.
I will do, if it's a major issue, I'll let you know.
We gotta get him back in and talk to him.
I think it's in that.
I know they were.
What?
I know, but
Let's get moving.
we gotta get moving. Better when I left. Stop it up. But I can understand his feeling, but, it's just, it's a whole different project.
Chris, I'm glad you're here. I just want to hear you or something.
How are you? It's very good. You and I are responsible for final week. That's the way I'm doing it. So glad, okay?
Over here, so I can.
Yes.
I'm modeling Jen.
Hey, John, good morning.
Morning, John.
You and I are just trying to do our best.
Living the dream.
I'm gonna move this one. I don't talk during the board meeting because I'm taking notes, so I move it down.
Oh, we're moving down here, okay.
Yeah, John will too.
Thanks a lot. You know,
Did you expect anything like?
no, I did, of course,
Yes.
of course.
John Dickens.
Nice to meet you.
Water all over this thing, for God's sake.
Good morning, how are you?
I bet.
Update yesterday,
Morning, Anna.
Morning, Anna.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
Morning, Anna.
Oh, good morning, Sean.
Chris.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris.
Down for it.
Hopefully good weather.
What did God say?
Don't, just don't.
How are you doing, Bill?
I'm doing well, yourself?
Good.
Gotta love it when somebody else.
You need the sun to come out.
I tell you.
I need the weather to turn. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
And they started, and they had.
Yeah. And put the top down.
It's always done it.
Oh, I know that.
Do we hand out an agenda at all?
Talking to the out and runs up her,
Nice.
she's an Andy to the chopper by 10 years.
There may not be.
I jump over the car and go in the seat. My daughter said, "Go ahead, you can jump over the door and jump in."
Did he? Yeah, I guess you gotta do it once in your lifetime, when you're able to.
Our company,
It's a fun car.
That's nice.
This time,
Yeah.
they call it something new.
Yeah.
I think it was based on the news.
oh, with the golf.
Yeah. The last one I was involved in was called 14.
So you can see the golf.
They were big.
I already felt like
It was.
we're an idiot.
Yeah, no, big shot.
At one point, I had 32 people in my team.
Do you want me to get the remote mouse?
So now I wasn't responsible.
Or,
Probably okay.
okay.
People under me,
Right, but
trying to get them
to do a
to
couple.
do it.
Yeah.
So trying to get 3 documents,
So I'll probably refer this over to you when I.
you know, 5 hours before the shut down.
Okay. I have instructed.
Favorite Spanish
Okay.
practice.
Oh, I forgot on my table, my desk, I'll be right back.
Yeah, ours was.
Doesn't say muted. I think they mute everything.
Yeah.
Anyone hear me?
It's always big by the time.
Mute.
Didn't know night of Friday, and I'd be calling people, you know, at 9 o'clock on a Friday night their time, because they haven't completed something. And that's the last thing the Spanish person wants to do, is talk to you at 9 o'clock on a Friday night.
You just can't come to them. They don't go to dinner till 10.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I've spoken to a couple of drunk
Sorry,
people
everyone,
over the
we're a
years.
little late getting started, trying to get some agendas made for everyone.
Painful
We
problem.
went to Spain every time we go to the, and it was fun.
You ever been to Barcelona?
Yeah.
Right, that's worse than other parts. Yeah, Catalan.
Yeah. No, I was mainly in Madrid.
Excuse me. Christopher speaking. Yes. Dan's having trouble with the link. Get on as soon as he can.
Okay, everyone, Dan's having trouble, Zooming in, but, we'll get started. Welcome, it's good to see everybody in person. And so we'll start the meeting with members' time. Anybody here who would like to ask a question or make a comment or observation? Anybody on the Zoom meeting who would like to do that? Do we have someone waiting?
Yeah, Dan's here.
Oh, that's Dan.
That's Dan.
Okay.
Are you asking for public comments?
Yes.
Yeah, my name is John Houston. I live on Imperial Drive, or Road, I should say. And I had submitted an email to the foundation office regarding speed limits. And I just wanted to bring this up. I have noticed that people are driving at excessive speeds, especially on Imperial Road, where there's no room for a sidewalk. And I've asked whether we can consider having the speed limit drop from 25 to 15. Hopefully, so that if people still speed, they're speeding at a lower speed. Because I have a dog and I've almost been hit twice. And I just think that we need to consider this road in particular, as I said, because there's no room for a sidewalk. There's some turns that are blind that people seem to, again, to drive at excessive speeds around and don't pay attention. So I would like to understand what, whether this is something we can consider.
Mr. Houston, I think the executive director, Megan, you help can answer that.
Yes, we did receive your request, and we are in the process of obtaining lower speed limit signs. We don't have any lower speed limit signs currently, and after we are able to do that, then we'll go ahead and get those installed in your area. We've also talked about a couple different things, speed bumps, different things that we can put into place to encourage people to slow down.
So am I to understand then that the foundation's supportive of my concern and my proposal?
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
And thank you for bringing that to our attention. Anybody else?
Yes, I'm sorry. I have a question / comment. This is Michelle Stepnick. I'm at 1940 South Ridgeway. First of all, I commend the rec committee for putting together a kids club. My first time to run it was last Sunday. Sadly, it was canceled because of rain, but I was beyond excited for my little activities. With that said, I didn't realize that we still aren't following the CDC guidelines and in terms of having our building be accessible and that it's still closed down. So I would ask that we get with the program as a foundation and start following those guidelines, and we open up our facilities to be indoors. Because at this point, everything is going normally in Pennsylvania, and I was quite frankly shocked that we couldn't get in the building. So I would ask that we start following those guidelines, and it would have been a great time. And I hope this Sunday, I won't be there this Sunday, but I'll be there next. I hope this Sunday, if it rains, our weather's been so unpredictable, that the kids club can happen. I love the idea of, especially new families being able to mesh and meet others and play and truly develop a sense of community, but we have to remain consistent if we're going to be able to do those things. That's all.
Michelle, just for clarification, our building is open, so what time of day are you?
It's Sundays from 6 to 8, but I was told that we haven't released the room and have use of the room for events due to COVID. So if that's not the case, I think it needs clarified with homeowners, but it's been set on the calendar and the homeowners calendar from 6 to 8 every Sunday following family bingo, which I would guess if it rains, we'd like to have family bingo still and be inside. So I don't know if there's a miscommunication going on, but we're under the impression that we can't get in there from 6 to 8 on a Sunday because of COVID, and the restrictions haven't been lifted.
Somebody's giving you wrong information, Michelle. This is John Eddy. First of all, the foundation was never asked to have this building open for kids. It was always to be outside. So if you're now asking that this building be open, give us a referral to do that. This is the first time we're hearing this. This was always to be outside.
Well, I mean, it does rain, so it'd be nice if we could use the inside. I will get with Erin because that was the impression she was under, that we couldn't get in the building. So
that's absolutely not true. We were never asked to have this building open for the Sunday night.
And frankly, there's no conflict at that time on a Sunday night. So
right, there isn't. There's like nobody there. That's why it's the perfect, quite frankly, homeowner time, right? So the kids that are there, that are constantly there, are available on those Sundays, can actually play and get to know their neighbors. So then we'll do whatever we have to do to make sure we can get in the building. But it was, we were under the impression that we weren't allowed in. So that's changed. Then I think that goes always back to my comment about communication with people. And then I think we need to make sure that gets communicated correctly. But we'll do what we have to do on our end to make sure we can get in there this Sunday and going forward.
Is this building open, like, period, open, unlocked? Because we were at school the other day and we couldn't get into this building at all.
Yeah, you could not get in the building,
What, over the weekend?
No, during the week.
even during,
What was on Wednesday night we were here, we tried all the doors, we couldn't get into this room at all.
the homeowners assume that the building is closed.
Why don't we take care of this by posting the hours for the building? There's, obviously the door is locked on this side.
Correct.
After a certain time. There's a planned activity in here that is planned and the door is open. I guess the question is whether or not this area is open on a regular basis for homeowners during the evening. I wasn't aware that it was being used in that way, but
It used to be.
maybe so, I'm not aware of it.
It used
Yeah,
to be
this
open all
building
the
was-
time, and we used to be able to come in here anytime we wanted to as homeowners. Those doors were unlocked and this door was unlocked, but these doors are now locked.
It's like there's a thunderstorm,
Yeah.
where are they going? It'd be nice to come into the building.
And with the library too, I mean, I use the library all the time, but obviously if you can't get in to get a book.
Well, obviously, Megan, let's take a look at that. I wasn't aware that it was a problem until now.
Well, on that note, I have a question. There was an
Would you
incident.
please state your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Valerie Brown. I live at 1863 East Ridgeway. There was a thunderstorm up here the other evening during school hours, and the pool closed, and I saw the pool policy being posted. However, my question to that is, not only who makes the call, because it just says staff, so who makes the call with the pool going to officially close? And at the cars that we have. The security guard, one of the doors locked immediately, went as far as in 5 minutes, called the state police and said that my husband was trespassing with the other homeowner because he wanted to lock the gate immediately. However, there was thunder and lightning, and it was completely unsafe, and it has never been a problem before. We've been here during storms, we've been able to get into this room, wait till the weather clears, walk the children home. Not the case because the doors were all locked, we were in this hallway out here, and then within 5 minutes, myself and my daughter left, so it left the two men, they left the women and children first, so it left the two men in the hallway, and your security guard gave them a hard time called the state police.
Seems rather extreme. Well then, you know,
So what is the policy when I get stuck here in a thunderstorm? Do I have time to let it pass so I can get my family home safely, or are we expected to walk home in a thunderstorm?
well, if there is someone here that, I had no idea this was locked. Let me say it that way. I don't think there's any reason to lock the door while the pool is open. On the other hand, you know, that office is locked. Access to this room, I think, is a different matter.
It is.
I'm not sure who the security guard was, but we'll certainly find out who it was.
Check.
It was, okay. And just let me know what he can and can't do, or what he should or should not do. In terms of who makes the call with regard to, thunderstorm,
Correct.
lifeguards do.
Okay, but I mean, is it an immediate, everybody has to leave the pool area, or do we have time to wait out a storm to get off the property?
Well, if this room is open, you'd be able to wait it out.
Okay,
So I think we can resolve it that way.
okay.
Okay, if we're talking about the pool, I have.
Name?
My name is Mary Ann Mead. I live at 1858 Eagles Ridge Way. We've only been homeowners for 3 years, so I'm a relative newbie, but have gotten to know a lot of people. I'm up here a lot. My request, I can rally some support, is consideration for cutting the middle trees of the pool. I haven't been here, I was at the beach, so I don't know what the condition of the pool is, but I was here for 4 days straight, and there's this big stretch of like kind of green looking algae in the pool, and I was told by the lifeguards that that's because of the tree cutting. We all know that the temperature here is 10 degrees less than it is in the city.
Yep.
I'm not asking to cut all the trees down, because not everybody likes sun, but I took some pictures, and by like 3:30, 4 o'clock, the whole entire pool is covered with shade. So as the summer progresses and the temperature starts to drop, it would be really nice if we could at least consider opening up a small space so that our pool could have a little bit more, you're smiling.
I am, so I'm gonna respond to you in a second.
Okay, so I just, that's all. I've talked to a number of people, and even Bill and I have at least had this conversation.
We got a stall.
All right, then I'll stop.
No, it's too bad you weren't a little mouse about 45 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Because we had that, let's back up. We've been having that discussion for 2 years on what to do with those trees.
Okay.
It's not just a matter of taking them out because of sun. We may also have an issue with the trees in relationship to the pool foundation. So it's being looked at, it's being considered. We're gonna have options here. Just I can't give you anything right now.
And I'm totally fine with that.
Well, and actually, I think we're gonna take action on this, sure.
No, we are gonna take that. It's just,
Perfect, that's all. I just didn't
Trees
know.
are marked out there.
Okay, I've been out of town, so that's all. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? I have one more question. Is it on the agenda for the board to bring back the kids, camp, the summer week kids camp?
It's not on our. For next year.
For next year, okay. I just don't. I'm not here.
when it's gonna.
And I'm sorry, this is Michelle Stepnick. I had one more question. I got cut off as we're trying to have discussion, no big deal. But could you tell me the ruling that we're allowing all these golf carts to be driving around? Are we really allowed golf carts? How do we park them? You know, we talk about parking issues. There's forever a conversation going on online about parking issues. So can we clarify the rules? Because, you know, the state has rules and laws on mixed use roadways, and when you allow golf carts, then you're sort of opening up your roadways to additional, maybe off-road vehicles that are registered, like UTVs, but also, again, back to what are we doing with these golf carts? And I'm not opposed to the conversation either way, but it seems as if they just sort of pop up, they're there. Are we allowing them? Are we having golf cart parking? Because then the golf carts come and they can take up an entire parking spot for someone who's driving. Again, limited space at the Southridge Center, which I know over time will be addressing and getting fixed. And we always welcome that change. But, this season we have a lot less rentals and crowdedness going on, which is nice. Things are sort of back to normal. But with that said, we always have limited parking issues going on, especially on holiday weekends. So how is this being addressed? Because quite frankly, if we're allowed a golf cart, I'm going to buy one for my kid. It's fine by me. I just want to know if we can have them.
Michelle, under our, can somebody mute? Thank you. Under our CCNRs, golf carts are allowed on the community roads. Clearly, that's allowed. UTVs are not allowed. We have an issue with some people parking their golf carts and leaving them during the week, and we are in the process of looking at that on whether or not we've got the capabilities to prevent that or fine homeowners, and I can't give you an answer where that is right now. But your question about golf carts being allowed on property, yes, they are.
I think, like many things, it may serve the community well if we have registration for those types of vehicles, so that, they're identified by number, and so if they are not, if they're creating a safety hazard, we can identify the vehicle.
Is there an age limit on driving a golf cart on community road?
I'm sorry.
Is there an age limit?
Right, that's my other question. I mean, I hate to say it. And I'll be honest, I have a four-wheeler, doors, seatbelts, it's a registered UTV. It is safer than if kids driving around in that based on the state laws than allowing random golf carts. It's eventually asking for a problem. I'm just going to be honest. It's asking for a problem of what is the rules? What is the age limit? Whose golf cart is it? People, again, kids getting on there, messing around. We only have so much security. We only have so much time in a budget. I think there needs to be some clear regulations, because in the last 2 summers, more and more of them are popping up. And again, it's not that I don't welcome them. I do, but there's got to be some sort of restrictions. And or if you have kids and you have a golf cart, by the way, you can get seatbelts. So your golf cart has to have seatbelts. Something with safety measures and mechanisms in them, because I can see this becoming an issue going forward. And again, times change, families change, and the community is going to change, and we have to continue growing with that. But we need to put something in place now, not when something happens and somebody falls out, somebody gets hit by a car, some crisis happens. I like to see what the rules are and work with somebody to try to figure it out. So that way we have the safety measures in place. And again, back to the parking, I don't know how we do that, but that's, a bigger conversation.
Michelle, we'll refer that to the safety committee and get some recommendations.
Okay. I appreciate it.
I thought that if you didn't have a garage or somewhere to park it, that they were not permitted on property.
Yes, and that's the issue. So that's what we have been looking at.
That's what I was told the road when we bought
Yes, it is.
years ago, that if you didn't have a garage or somewhere to put it into, you were not permitted to have a golf cart.
And we're getting pushed back, and that's why we're looking at it. So it's interesting.
Well, I will tell you as a homeowner, I think that once you allow golf carts, we can now become a campground. And I'm not.
But understand, we have to go by what our CCNRs say, and they clearly say about golf carts. Look, there's a bunch of things that we have figured out as we've gone last 4 or 5 years. Our CCNRs are outdated, and I'll give you an example that no pickup truck should be on these mountains. because it clearly says in CCRs, anything over 5,000 pounds. So our president's Yukon should be gone, okay? All you people with your big cars, get out, because you can't drive up here. So we're back to bicycles, but there's a number of things within the CCRs that are clearly outdated. And we know we have to bring it to membership. We're not there yet. And guess what? Up until 2 years ago, we never had to deal with golf carts. It's only since COVID that we've had to deal with it. So, Michelle, I appreciate your feedback and your comments, but we've never had to deal with, well, can a 7-year-old drive a golf cart? Well, I hope the hell not. But we don't have the rules to go with that. So we will look at it. We will.
These are a lot of good ideas and, a number of issues, so I really appreciate hearing from everybody.
Absolutely.
I have comments. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, this is Wendy Gonzalez, 5009 Summit. I actually have 5, so. The first one is the garbage compactor. That discussion was tabled a few months ago. I'd love to know what the status of that is, as well as make another statement that I think we need to move the recycling from up at Southridge Center, because it is taking up a lot of room that could be parking. And when people drop off, they pull up right in the middle of the parking lot instead of taking a parking space. And I'm just afraid a kid or a family's going to get hit. It just causes way too much congestion. So I don't know what the status
We
of.
have a plan in place to move the recycling. It's going to take a little bit of,
Okay.
groundwork before we're able to do that, but we
When they
do have a plan in place.
What we'd like to do on that is take the recycle and put it down at the Highlands building for now, and make that area a garage. We need a lot of storage. We have no storage. And that would make a nice garage for all our pole chairs and umbrellas to put in that garage. So that would get rid of the traffic.
So Wendy, it doesn't sound like it will be additional parking.
No, but
we did.
I mean,
Wendy, John Eddie, but we did address some of the parking issues. We now have 7 more spots along High Top that we did not have before.
I did see
And the
that.
other thing
That's
is,
awesome.
now that we've got the other bocce court, maintenance was able to put a trail from behind the bocce courts, which is another 15 parking spaces that typically people don't use, but guess what? It's really close to the pool that nobody's using. So we've started to address the parking components. The other issue with the garbage is being worked on.
Okay, I appreciate that. And if there is a way that we can highlight the new parking areas in our weekly e-blast, I think it's because people don't know they exist. And that's one way to get it out to the community. So thank you for that. And I would like to add that I mean, I'm glad that it's moving, but I even think the Highlands is such prime real estate in our community. I would love to see it moved a little bit off, maybe where we have our salt dome, but that's just a suggestion. I mean, I'm just glad it's moving out of Southridge. My second comment also is in regards to the pole. I'm in favor of cutting down some of the trees, and I understand that's working. I just wanted to voice that it's more than just a couple homeowners. And I'm glad that you're addressing these pole closing procedures, because I just don't think that it fits to the homeowners, as one homeowner spoke about earlier. The third thing is I am thoroughly excited about the new building. Thank you. I love seeing the progress reports on that. That is fantastic, and way to go. I just want to add one comment there that I hope that we're looking towards the future and maybe getting the snack shack up and running for next May, which is May, for the summer of 2022. One idea that I had, and I'm not sure with being under self-management, if the board is getting restructured or not, but I had a conversation with someone who's suggested that maybe we need to have full-time homeowners. And I think we need a representative from all walks of life, including maybe a representative from each association, a representative from the Summit, a representative from the Highlands who sits on the board. I don't even know if anybody on the boards meets with any of our individual associations. I was part of a volunteer fire company where they structured their board to have so many life members, so many active members, so many non-active members, and so many from the auxiliary. And it was weighted, obviously, there were more active because active firefighters, the decisions that a board makes happens to an active firefighter. But in any case, I just think, we need to have representation, full-time, part-time, retired families on the board. If that is even in a discussion, I just wanted to put that out there, that if you're looking to expand the board, I'm not sure. But it's just, I think where I'm coming from is, I think we need to have some sort of communication from the individual associations back to this board right here, the big foundation.
Wendy, I can speak to that. In the last 2 weeks, I've reached out to each of the condo associations. The board intends to establish an ad hoc committee that is made up of representatives from each of the condo associations. I know that there has been always a complaint that, there is not a straight line communication between the foundation and those associations. So we're going to change that. And so we'll be able to hear their questions and concerns. But I do want to make the point that condominium association owners have the ability to run for the board. And
yes,
so it's always been that way. And we always encourage, people from all neighborhoods to run for board seats. So there may be a misunderstanding about that because each of the condos has their own board. But that doesn't mean that those property owners can't run for the foundation board. So, and we encourage people to do that.
Thank you, Pat. And my last comment is, it kind of goes off of the building being open and the change of hours. So with the change of hours cutting from 5 o'clock to 4 o'clock, so does that mean the building will be closed an hour earlier as well?
That is what that is. Yes, that does mean that the building closes at 4.
I don't know why it was made and that decision, but a suggestion would be to maybe stagger people's hours. Somebody comes in early, leaves early, somebody comes in later and leaves later. That's all. It could be an impact to homeowners, changing it from 5 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And that's all the comments I have. Thanks.
Thank you.
This is John Houston again. I was waiting for other people. I had actually a second comment that I wanted to raise. Having been a homeowner here for almost 20 years on Imperial, I typically in the fall contract with somebody to plow my driveway, and we actually have an access road that I share with 2 other homes. And I also get my own landscaping done. I'm fine with both of those. But I'm just wondering whether the foundation, when it's doing its contracts with for such things as plowing and landscaping, can also maybe in their contracts allow homeowners to be able to engage those same contractors at a preferential rate structure, something that maybe because of the volume of work we're doing with those contractors, maybe a little bit lower than what I'm spending on the guy that plows my driveway or that does my mulch and things. I just think it's an opportunity to again, extend those contracts and allow us to maybe to receive some of the discounts, additional discounts, reduce our cost structures. Certainly, with respect to plowing, if somebody's up plowing the main roads and they've got to plow our access road and the driveway, I suspect it's going to be less expensive than me having somebody who comes up and plows my driveway specifically.
I think that's a great idea, Pat. You know, I've seen this done in companies I've worked for in the past where we could pass on volume discounts to employees, employee discount schemes. So maybe we look at our supply base across the board for the foundation, and I think our suppliers are willing to offer a 5-10% discount to homeowners for regardless of the service.
John, I think that's a great suggestion. Your timing is good as well, because we had put out an RFP for snow removal services. We did receive 2 responses. We're going to be talking about that today, and I believe making a decision on that today. But that doesn't mean that we can't talk to the contractor about establishing that kind of program.
Right.
So,
and even if it involves us committing, like myself committing in the springtime, if you're going to do a new plow contract for the winter, me saying in the fall, listen, I sign up for this, I want mine included in the plowing plan. That gives contractors an understanding of how much business they're going to have and how much they're going to allocate in terms of trucks and people. I'm willing to do that myself. I don't know if other homeowners are. To me, it's something that needs to be done, and I have it done, and I pay a yearly fee for. And it's convenience, it's cost, it's a lot of things. So again, if it might make things more complex for the foundation, but I think it's a value add to us.
well, very good. Thank you for the suggestion, and like I said, the timing is good for that. Any other comments? COVID must be over. Good. Okay, if not, I know there's a delay out there in the Zoom community. So if I've missed you, jump in, but I think we're going to move forward. We're going to call the meeting to order at 9:37. Roll call, John.
All right, Pat McGrail.
Present.
Bob Kohler. Present. Bill Leisure.
Present.
Chris Taylor.
Present.
John Eddy.
Present.
Dan Martin.
Present.
And John Dickinson, present.
Quorum present.
Yes.
Okay, has everybody had an opportunity to review the agenda? Are there any additions or changes? If not, is there a motion to set the agenda as stated?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Bob Kohler,
I'll second that motion.
second by Chris Taylor. Any questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Item number 6 is volunteer recognition. I'm trying to do this, every month at our meeting, and we had one person who was named this month, and that is John Wolf. As everyone is aware, John is our IT guy, on a regular basis, but John, adds so much to the community by providing additional IT services, as a volunteer. And so I did want to thank him publicly and award him with our very special Hidden Valley mug, and the certificate. So thank you, John. And now that we have some people here, if anybody, has a suggestion for Volunteer of the Month, please send me an email, because I think it's important, that we recognize the people that add so much to the community. So thank you to John Wolf, and we'll make sure he gets his.
Excuse me, Pat, and I'm not supposed to talk during the meeting. I want to, nominate the board, all the time that people put into that, and, you may already have your mouth. But I think they need to be recognized.
Well, thank you for that, Marlene, and we really appreciate your comments. Okay, moving on to the minutes. Is there a motion to approve approve the minutes of the June 19th meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by John Eddie,
I'll second.
second by Bob Kohler. Any questions on the motion? Any proposed revisions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Treasurer's report.
Thank you, Pat. So as is my practice, I'll incorporate treasurer's report with the finance committee and audit committee reports, and I'll use the treasurer's dashboard to make my comments. First of all, pleased to report that we've had a very favorable year financially. For the 11-month period ended May 31st, we're showing a surplus of about $410,000. As we've talked about at prior meetings, there's really several reasons for that. The significant home sales in the community have resulted in some significant higher entrance and resale certificate fees, much more than we budgeted for. Our expenses, we had some savings in the labor category due to some unfilled positions and related payroll taxes on that. The shuttle service not running this past year and the Highlands Pool being closed because of COVID. And we were also under budget in the snow removal category by $72,000. So all of those things contributed to our surplus. The foundation continues to be in very strong financial condition. We have no long-term debt. Our days operating cash on hand is 214 days. So I think we'll be able to stay in business for a little while yet. And part of that surplus cash has come from the fact that we are running the surplus this year too. So normally I like to try to keep that at about 4 or 5 months cash on hand, but we're a little bit higher than that right now. Our accounts receivable, we continue to do a good job there. Total outstanding receivables at May 31st was $86,000. And when you look at the over 90-day category, there's actually 3 accounts in there that constitute almost 90% of that balance. And we're aggressively working to collect that money. Our investments continue to perform well. At May 31st, we had $2.6 million in our reserve fund, and included in that is $390,000 of unrealized appreciation. So our investment policy and our investment managers seem to be doing a very good job for us. Our capital budget, we have spent through May 31st about $290,000 worth. One big project, the Ridgeview Road drainage project, has also been completed. So by June 30th, when I next report on this, we will be at 70% completion of our capital budget. On the second page of the dashboard are some of the non-financial statistics that I always like to look at. The work order report is the same as it was at April 30th because of our transition in our accounting system. We're no longer getting that information, so we'll be working to implement that. I think we'll probably look at, and I will probably cringe when I say this, but hopefully start the work order system around August 1st. So. Okay, she didn't flinch, okay. Other non-financial measures that I always like to look at too, you can see the pools had opened in May. We had very few visits there in May because, as you recall, the Memorial Day weekend was a little rainy, but we certainly expect that activity to pick up the next time we report on it. Our number of email subscribers, we're up to almost 1,250 names in the email chimp system, so that's really good. ACC permit activity continues to be on pace with the prior years. And then the last one that I've been tracking here the last several years, our real estate activity. Thanks to Mike Mickelson for updating the numbers for me, but for the fiscal year, July 1 to June 30, I can't believe this number, 155 units changed hands up here. And as of Tuesday of this week, I'm sure this number's probably changed, there were 7 units for sale, according to the West End Multi-List.
It does seem to be down, I just checked.
Yeah.
5 or 6.
Well, when I first became the treasurer, the urban legend was that 10% of the mountain was for sale at any given point in time, right? So last year, so it'd be about 100 units, right? So last year at the same time, there were 46 units for sale. Now remember, we were just kind of emerging that, and I think realtors weren't allowed to show properties in March and April. That got lifted, I think, in May, if I remember correctly, but down to 7 units. So. The Finance Committee did meet yesterday. We talked about a number of items. The most significant ones included review of the snow removal bids, which is on the agenda for today. We also talked about our insurance coverages, financing of the South Ridge Center project. We looked at our investments, and we also got an update on the accounting system conversion. So I will turn to Anna to give us a little update on the accounting system and property management system.
The new software that we're using is called TOPS, and as of now, we have all 5 communities, homeowners and vendors in the system. We're currently in the process of closing June, and, closing the books and tying out to first service because their responsibilities were through June 30th. And then we're transitioning. We've opened the fiscal year for July for 2021, 2022. We're in the process of, and along with that, we sent out the coupon booklets for the condominiums as well as the statements for the foundation. Those should be received by the end of this week or early next week. The foundation statements were sent Monday. A lot of the homeowners in the condominiums have already received their booklets. They were sent out a week to 10 days ago, and we received our first lockbox payment yesterday with our new bank, CIT. CIT has set up an account for each of the foundation and the condominiums and a reserve account that can be used by the condominium associations. So we did receive, there were payments for all the condominium associations yesterday, so we know it's working. We're also in the process of setting up the link that the bank gave us for for online payments for the homeowners. We're in the process of testing that system, and hopefully the beginning of next week, we'll have that available, that information for homeowners to go online and make their payments for July. And as we've been saying, and thank you for the newsletter, Chris, that there will not be any July, any late fees assessed on July payments. So we covered the lockbox. We've installed the check scanner, so if we receive payments here or during the transition period, ideally we want homeowners to use the coupon booklets or the statements to send to the lockbox or to be online. But if we do receive checks here, we set up a scanner that can be used to make deposits into the bank accounts. We've also set up it's required a special printer in order to pay vendors, so that's been installed this past week as well. We're just continuing with the implementation, and one of those things, as Bob mentioned, would be the work order system that maintenance and the executive director would have access to, and hopefully the next step would be to allow homeowners to go on and put in a service request for the executive director to review and to see if a work order is needed. And that could be tracked through the TOPS system as well. We've also completed 3 successful payrolls with ADP, and there seems to be no issues, and we seem to be on track.
Great job. And I would be remiss if I didn't connect Anna and Chris and Bob and Megan, in terms of making this transition. You know, we started from scratch, guys, you know, new software, new account, and we're all that on. So this is great.
Thank you, Tom.
We just can't give them any mugs.
No mugs for the.
We're at our mug limit, apparently. One last report out, the audit committee, this is the time of year that committee becomes active, so they met remotely during the last week, and they do review and recommend the auditors for the annual audit of our financial statements, and they have made that recommendation, and that is on the agenda for an item to vote on today. So, Madam President, that concludes my remarks.
Bob, couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Just on, so the coupon books went out,
Yes.
but they were not received by the 1st of July
Correct.
deadline, so assuming there'll be no late
Yes.
fees.
As Anna indicated, we will waive any, all.
Sorry, I missed that, I do apologise.
Yep.
And do we have the ability to pay the fees automatically through the bank?
We're testing that.
Yeah.
Mr. Eddy volunteered.
I cleaned my bank out yesterday.
So, yeah, we're gonna test
Well,
it today.
taking a long time.
Funny, Chris.
So we're gonna test it today, and
Okay.
if it works well, we'll put some, we'll publish
Put it
some
on the
instructions next week so people can pay their,
Good, because you're relying on me to remember to bring it up. It's not gonna happen.
By taking my time.
Yeah.
Anna,
I'll end up on your naughty list.
does bill pay work also?
What was the question?
Say that
Bill
again,
pay.
John?
Anna, does bill pay work also? I do all my bills through bill pay on my bank.
I don't know the answer to that, but we'll find out.
And you just put in the address of the
Okay.
given, hopefully it'll.
I would think that would work, John, but we'll find out
Yeah.
from,
Doesn't
our
address.
CIT on that.
The details.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, always does.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion to accept treasurer's report.
I'll second that.
Motion by John Eddie, seconded by Chris Taylor. Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Megan?
I'll just dovetail off of what Hannah said and state the fact that we've been busy closing out fiscal year and also moving forward with the transition. So far, things have gone pretty good. A couple of hiccups, but the staff has been working very hard to get things in place and formulate our plans for how we want to structure the office and the organization with self-management moving forward.
Great. How are the new workstations working out?
They seem to be working out well.
A little close.
A little close.
Thank you
So far, so good.
thank you for putting up the, screen for
Yeah.
Vicky, I think that's very helpful.
Okay. Good. Anything else, Megan?
That's all.
Okay. We have received the report from the maintenance supervisor. Any questions on that, please direct them to Megan, and she can work with Brian, although it's pretty complete. Committee reports. Bob, we've heard from finance and audit. Bill, the ACC.
It's been pretty light. Had 2 applications this week, and everything's going smooth.
Okay, good. It's noteworthy, I think, Bill, that the ACC did look at the planned color combination for the new pavilion.
Yes, they're all in favor of
Can you
it.
speak to that a little bit?
On the colors, on the new building would be a dark gray around all the trim and all the openings, if you understand that, okay? The roof is gonna match this roof here, because we believe this roof has another 5 to 10 year life on it. And we're gonna have a white cupola on top of the roof. The siding is a weathered gray, it's more of a wood tone effect, which would match this building. So that building's gonna pretty much complement this building, which, that's what we're looking for. It's, gutters are all gray, dark gray, all the fascia's dark gray, the soffit underneath is a white, which we have white here on this building.
Okay, sounds good. And we have no report from maintenance. A page from the Rules and Regs Committee. Chris, any extras on that?
No, nothing from.
Okay. And it sounds like we might have some policies coming your way.
Certainly sounds that way, yes, yes.
To update.
Yep.
We have a page from the Social and Rec Committee, no report from Branding and Media, a page from Clerk, and a page from the Nominating and Leadership Development Committee. I see Chris Humboldt is here. Anything extra, either that or John, either one of you?
No, nothing correct.
Okay, good. No report from the Wi-Fi Committee. Chris, communication, anything extra?
No, I should, if I could go back for a moment, on the nominating. Wendy's comment at the beginning of the meeting, one of the things that the nominating committee is now working on is to develop a slate of officers for the fall election. And that communication will be coming out starting in August. But we will be making, as we did last year, specific outreach to members of various constituencies. We've invited more women to run for the board. We have certainly invited specifically members of the various condominium associations to run for the board. So, I just wanted to assure the board that in line with Wendy's question, it's the committee's intent to help develop a representative board. We can't control who decides to run, but it certainly is our appeal is to try and create as representative a board as
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Bob,
I'll second.
second by Bill. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Dan Martin, do you want to give us an update on the Hidden Valley Utilities?
Yes, the plant is up and running, and I was interested in comments back. Does the water quality appear any clearer than it has in the past? Most of the flushing has been completed. The committee is meeting again on Wednesday to try to set some long-term and operational goals. So I'm interested in feedback. Have you noticed anything different about the water supply?
I haven't personally, Dan. Mine was just as bad yesterday, but we'll flush the tank and then see what happens after that.
My filter's a lot cleaner now.
Great. And of course, John is here full-time, and Chris, you're
That's right.
part-time. That
Yeah.
is something.
I changed it right last week when they said that their flushing was complete.
Okay. So as of yesterday, mine was now better, but we'll give it another week or two and just see.
My unit up at Highlands, I sent somebody in there to run water the other day and replace the filter, and it was much better than it has been in the past. But again, you have to flush the lines in the house, you have to flush the tanks, you have to flush the entire system beyond the distribution point to make sure that it's fully functional. But it seemed to be better, at least in my unit.
Yeah, and to be fair, I haven't done that yet, Dan, so we'll see.
Okay, and we're meeting on Wednesday afternoon, evening to try to, to review where we stand with things and look at some longer term goals or milestones that we also need to try to reach. And we'll have those available here in the next week or so.
That's great, Dan.
Bob, is the legal issue closed? Bob, do you know?
Yeah, thank you, Dan. That was what I was going to say. The legal issue still remains, so I think what the judge was waiting for was to see what would happen with the water treatment plant and how successful that was. So what I'm anticipating now is probably in the next month or so, the judge will probably reach out to the parties and ask, okay, folks, what are we going to do here? So I think that's coming. HVUS did file their mandatory 60-day status report. I circulated that to the board and the members of the water committee. And secondly, Jim Kettler, the president of HVUS, has asked for our assistance in orchestrating another customer meeting. As you may recall, under the provisions of the order, he's required to have semi-annual meetings, so he's asked for us to help again. So, of course, I would assume we're okay with that, so if it's all right with you, we'll reach back out to him and get something scheduled. So.
Frankie thought it was encouraging that he requested that we move it forward and have the meeting, so that was good.
Oh, he has some news he wants to share, Dan.
I'm sure he does, I'm sure. And he wants to close this legal issue. I mean, it's a substantial financial drain on, not that I feel sorry for him, but it's a substantial financial drain on his end also he'd like to end.
I would just ask that we schedule that maybe on a Saturday morning so that, interested people, we may only have 5, but at least let's make it available for as many people as possible.
Will do.
5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon doesn't work for many of us. It works.
No.
So except for John. Tell him not to laugh. Okay, Dan, thanks so much. Security incident report, we do have, a page on that. And John and Megan probably aren't gonna like what I say about this, but I'm gonna encourage people to register any security issues, either through the website, HVF Help Today, did I say that right? Help out. Anyway, whatever it is. Because we have a lot of people up here, there's a lot of units that are on VRBO and, Airbnb, and we're seeing security issues. So we want to stay on top of that. I think we're all agreed, we don't want this to become a party place with out of control party. And, between, our staff and the security company, we intend to stay on top of it. Okay. So I encourage you to reach out and let us know what's going on. We did receive, the monthly report from Chris Lindberg with regard to his attendance in the meeting. That report seemed to deal, primarily with the, paving project up at Gardner. We appreciate that update from Chris.
Well, we now have a new speedway now down to 31.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you win all the time?
Because there's somebody on my safety committee just waiting for me to either run the stop sign at the bottom of the hill, or he's sitting back in Jurassic Park just waiting.
Is he?
Oh, yeah. He already told me that, so I behaved.
Good job, John.
Chris, be quiet.
Moving on to, the Southbridge Center update, we're moving forward.
Yes.
I'm gonna let John Dickinson and Alicia give you a full report, but just so that everybody is aware, on this Monday, you're gonna see activity in the area where the pavilion is being built. A number of trees will be removed so that we can start construction in early August or mid-August. So John, you wanna provide more detail?
Okay, well, the first thing I want to do is thank Chris Humble for, I've given him the updates, and the way I'm gonna work it is I'm gonna give him the same update weekly that I give the board, so that he can put that in the weekly update. I think that works well, Chris. So if everybody read their last week's, they saw what was on the agenda last week. This week, we had the 3 tree removal bids. We've chosen one, so they'll be coming in Monday to remove the trees. We have contacted the excavators for bids and are looking forward to getting their bids. The PA Municipal Code Alliance has approved our building permit, so anything beyond excavation, we can start working on. If anybody looked outside, maintenance did, remove the fence on the east side and put up a temporary fence so that we have moved the pool people back away from where the work is gonna occur. So that would be good. And, Morton, we're trying to stay on schedule so that Morton can come in on the 9th and start erection of August.
Okay, anybody have any questions of John or Bill? If not, thank you again for all the work that's gone into that. John even has a dog box set up out there, for the convenience and used by the contractors.
That's for the, contractors, and we'll have a set of drawings, and it'll also be there for the permit people to, put their permit approvals in.
So it looks like full steam ahead? Okay. All right. Any other reports? Let's move on to new business. I believe everybody has had the opportunity to review the snow removal, contract bid. Is there a motion to award the snow removal contract?
I make a motion to accept. I can't remember who we agreed upon.
Gillingham.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Yeah, okay.
So we have a second discussion.
We have a motion by John Eddie, a second by Alicia. And Dan, did you have comments?
No, I was just, I was on that committee. I was just gonna second it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just a little delayed here, that's all. Go ahead.
I would just add that the, finance committee, as part of their, charge, did review the proposals yesterday, and does recommend engaging Gillingham Construction for the upcoming season.
Overall, the cost for, under the Gillingham proposal compared to the dependable contract last year.
Very similar, slight increase over the dependable contract. We also know that Gillingham did do some work on the mountain last winter. They were subbed out by dependable, so they do have some familiarity with the mountain. The other bidder, Silvas, much more expensive across the board. Feeling was that due to Gillingham's familiarity with the mountain and the competitive rates, management recommended that, and the finance committee also recommended that.
Okay, great. Any questions on that? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Bob had, under his audit report, indicated that the audit committee had recommended hiring Singer Bice, as the foundation auditor. So do I have a motion to appoint Singer Bice as auditor for the June 30th, 2021 financial statement?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Chris Taylor,
I'll second.
second by John Ennis.
I have a question.
Yes.
How does that compare with the previous year's audit?
It is a 3.2% increase.
Okay. Thank you.
Which you can do the cost of that one.
The total fee is $14,400, which includes the audit of the financial statements and the preparation of the Form 990 income tax return.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Singer Bice has been our auditor for a number of years. They have a niche in that market. They service about 70 to 75 HOAs, and it is some unique accounting, so I think we're with the right firm there to handle it. They've been very helpful to us over the years.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Bill, this is going to handle this under our report, our ACC report. But, Vicki had brought to my attention that, that our homeowners are having problems making improvements due to the unavailability of items. Can you speak to that?
Yes, the contractors are having problems getting paint and stain, different colors. So yesterday at the ACC, we decided whatever you could do, paint your places this year is fine. If you have a difficulty in getting it painted, we're okay with it, okay? There's not gonna be any fines, and it just depends on the suppliers and the painters. And there is it's a distress call from the manufacturers, paint, it's hard.
But are we saying so they've got to get a colour that's close, or
No,
you can just
I think-
use any colour?
no.
We're just giving a 1-year grace
It
period.
has to be the approved color.
Right now, we're thinking about giving a 1-year grace period. Okay,
To not paint. To not paint.
Yes, but
Get the work done.
if you already got the work contracted on, you have difficulty getting it stained, okay, we'll give you a 1-year reprieve.
Bill, are you gonna do the same thing for shingles, especially on the condos? Since I know Certainteed went from 26 colors to only 5 this year.
The condo associations have not made a move to us
Okay,
about the shingles.
okay.
I know my availability to get shingles are like 5 colors, okay? I think we're okay up here on our color schemes.
Should we be just proactively addressing that with the condo associations, then reach back to them and ask the question?
The high.
The only reason I bring it up is because I know when looking at stuff for my addition, it was, hey, you're limited because we've gone from 26 possibilities down to 5.
Mm-hmm.
The association should get in touch with us.
Yeah, the problem is all stems back in the petroleum industry. And it's a long-term fix. It's not gonna happen very quickly. What the painters are doing is they're selling high-quality paint. They only have so much base, so they're putting it in a high-quality paint and increasing their profit margin. That's the real problem. So you may very well be able to get that color in a better quality paint. For instance, Sherwin-Williams makes at least 5, I think, or 3 different qualities, and they're not selling the lower 2 because there's not as much profit margin. They're using the product that they have in the higher margin paints. So it may very well be out there. I mean, you can convert a Sherwin-Williams to Benjamin Moore, or Benjamin Moore to Sherwin-Williams, or Burr, or whatever you want to go to, Bear. It's just, somebody's going to have to look for it. It's out there and you're going to pay more for it, but you can match it.
And we didn't want to go that way, because, Sherwin-Williams was the approved 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, the color is what's approved, so the color charts interchange between Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams, and whoever. They're all interchangeable. You just have to find a real paint shop, that's all, or Lowe's probably does it. But I know this because I just personally bought some Sherwin-Williams color from a Benjamin Moore paint because of the same issue. And you pay for the premium paint as opposed to the base paint, but it's out there if they look.
You're correct on that, Dan. Also, we had a policy 4 or 5 years ago on the, decks. Spicewood brown, okay? It's not sticking to the decks, right? And we're getting into a problem in which we approve Sherwin-Williams product. Is there a better product out there? And as the ACC, we should have approved the color, never approved a certain manufacturer stain to use.
That's correct.
We should have never done that. And I would like to change the policy on that. We could use other companies, but the same color, okay, that's no problem. But we got locked in 4 or 5 years ago in the paint program.
Can you make a recommendation to change the policy?
Sure.
So that you adopt a color?
I would like to do that.
Yeah, I think come back to, maybe go to rules and regs.
Yeah.
And then, I'm pointing to Chris because he's the board liaison with rules and regs.
Just in case anybody missed, John was pointing.
All right, I'll get in touch with you, Chris.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is you're going to prove a color, for instance, modern gray. And that quote color of that name is only available through one supplier, but the other suppliers can make an or equal to it. So you have to be careful with the color you choose, because if it's a Sherwin-Williams color, then you got to convert it to Benjamin Moore. And if it's Benjamin Moore, you got to convert it back to Sherwin-Williams. So I agree that's better than saying Sherwin-Williams model 1911, but we have to, or equal, I think is the word. It's got to be a modern gray or equal.
I think that's it. I think what we do is we make the policy, you know, Spicewood brown or, you know, manufacturer equivalent,
Sure,
you know.
that's good.
It's a case of matching it to.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt again. We were hunting for paint, and, we went to Sherwin-Williams. Nobody had the base, but they can go into their computers and tell you where they have the base. We drove to Pleasant Hill in order to get the paint. And they only had one can, and they put our name on it so we could get it. So it's very hard to come.
I mean, I'll just add just a little bit of comment to this, because it's going through some of this, in my regular job, looking at the markets. You know, lumber prices are dropping, you know, plumbing prices are dropping. So we are starting to see the market come back to somewhat normality. I still think it's a year or two away from being back to a $3 2x4. But what we're also seeing is a lot of manufacturers are shrinking the range in all areas. They're just not, they've used COVID to rationalize their product ranges, rationalize the workforce, become more efficient by selling less.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, the reason I said should we reach out to the condo associations proactively is I don't think this problem's going to go away in the next 2 to 3 years. I think we're going to see this problem just carry on going. Paint ranges, shingles, you know, just a lot of different products.
You know what, Chris, once I get that group together, I'll add that to the list, because I know there's a number of issues.
Yeah, I think COVID has become a crutch rather than a reason anymore.
Some of it's actually been quite beneficial in terms of, you know, the efficiency drive. There's been a lot of downside as well.
So as a board, we're gonna do a 1-year extension paint program?
I think that's appropriate.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
Very good.
Hey, John, I don't wanna take action on that, but make sure that's in there. Okay,
Yes, 1-year grace period.
thank you. Okay.
Is that just painting or is all items? Painting or all items?
Painting.
Painting.
Shingles or any other thing?
I
I haven't had-
into any necessary improvement. I don't know what the language is, but,
I'll just make it specific to painting.
for example, as we identify properties that need a new roof and the homeowner receives a notice, typically they would have so much time to make that improvement. I think we just wanna make sure we're giving them enough time to get the proper material.
Okay, fine.
anything else for the good of the order? Next meeting day is Saturday, August 21st at 9 a.m. Think about whether we're gonna continue our Saturday meetings into the fall, or if we're gonna go to a Friday night. We had talked about July and August on Saturday morning, so, we'll think about that, maybe get some feedback, put that in the weekly update, and have people let us know what they want us to do. But do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that.
Motion by Bob, and second by Chris.
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
10:15.
Don't forget to get me volunteer names. I already have one. That's all I need.
Well, you know what?
Okay, I'll send out